Toastmaster designation, which is the highest point you can go in Toastmasters. And only 0.7% of the world of 336,000 Toastmasters, 0.7% reach distinguished Toastmaster. This person did it 3 times, and he's soon to complete his 4th DTF. Now that's a lot of speeches. Even after all these years and awards later, he's still excited about what Toastmasters has to offer. Today, he will be doing a special speech. It is the Icebreaker, presenting Pathways Icebreaker. Please welcome You Win. You.
Yay. A long time ago, 8 years ago, Pathways was conceived. A group of people got together and had an orgy of ideas. Then it took 7, that's right, 7, yes I said it, 7 long years before Pathways was born. It was born last year in California. It's been moving all over the world. And next week, Pathways is coming to you, to your club. So Pathways is the new education system in Toastmasters. To tell you how it works, I'll involve someone who's never been involved with Toastmasters before. Our guest, Parth, right? Pretend that he's going to join Toastmasters, and he will be on Pathways. It will start when he gets all his materials online. And in the materials, he'll look through it, then he'll prepare his first speech. He will come up here and deliver his icebreaker. That's his first speech. Once he gets done, someone else comes up here and gives an evaluation of that speech. Tonight's speech is being evaluated using the official Pathways evaluation form. There are 3 pages, and there are lots of details to help the evaluator give feedback to the speaker. It's all about helping the speaker improve. So once Parth gets his feedback, he's done with his icebreaker, so he's not so nervous after his first speech, he gets a chance to come back up here, deliver his second speech. So maybe I didn't give an accurate representation of the nervousness. Maybe for his first speech it was like this, and this is his second speech too. And that's okay. So once he's done, once he lets go of this, goes back to his seat, then someone else comes back up here and gives an evaluation of that speech, gives feedback. And Parth, after that, puts together a third speech, another speech. And he'll come back up here. And remember that the evaluator said it's okay to let go of the lectern. So he stands up here, still nervous, but he's not holding on to the lectern. Maybe he's just standing like this, not like this. So he incorporated feedback from his evaluator. And that's the purpose of this third speech, is to be able to incorporate feedback from the previous speech. So Toastmasters, Pathways, encourages incorporating feedback from the evaluation. It believes in evaluation so much that the next project, so after 3 speeches, for your next project, you will watch someone give a speech. That's easy, right? Then you can come up here and you evaluate that speech. So Parth, as a new member of Toastmasters under Pathways, after giving 3 speeches, he will become an evaluator. Isn't that exciting?
That's exciting.
Yeah, giving feedback. Evaluation is important.
Absolutely.
Something else that's important in Pathways is mentorship. So one of the later speeches, that you will do is that you'll come up here and give a speech about how you were mentored, whether it was at work, or maybe at school, or maybe someone mentored you, in your family mentored you for something. Just someone who helped you improve or helped you move past something. So you give a speech about that, on mentorship. And if you're inclined, you can go into the Pathways Mentor Program, where you get to help other people, you help to mentor them. After completing the program, you can become a Pathways Mentor. Isn't that nice? Because, Rich, do you know a lot about pathways at all?
No.
Maria, do you know that much about pathways? You read some, right? A little
Only
bit.
from what my friends told me when they launched it in District 5 last
Yeah.
year.
So you know something. Patty, do you know anything about pathways? No.
Not a thing. I know it's a compound word.
So far, if you're hearing that, and these are experienced, or if these are experienced members that I just asked, and they don't know anything about pathways or very little. So if you get on the Pathways Mentor Program and you become Pathway Mentor, you could mentor Rich or Maria or Patty, some of the most experienced members of the club. Isn't that exciting? A new member can mentor the experienced members.
After you complete your program.
Yes, officially, yes. Or you can mentor it during the program, right? Just like we can mentor each other right now.
Is this interactive? Can we ask you questions about
Yeah,
that?
not yet. It's a good thing this isn't being timed. One of the great things about Pathways is to get immediate feedback on how you did. In the current system, you have a manual where you do 10 speeches and you get an award after 10 speeches, the Competent Communicator Award. Under Pathways, after doing 10 speeches, you get recognized for completing level 1, level 2, and level 3. So you get 3 levels of recognition for doing 10 speeches. So you get more recognition, and you even get a chance to give each other badges. Yes, you can go online and Rich can give Patty a badge because she's awesome or she's courageous. What does the badge do? It's something like a like on Facebook. When you like something on Facebook, it must be important, right? Yeah, it's just like a like on Facebook. So I'm excited to be liked in Pathways. Toastmasters, I gave you a quick Pathways icebreaker. And there's someone who will guide you through the steps of Pathways. He is your Pathways guide. So please welcome Jeff Otten.
All right, thank you. Hey, fearless ambassador. Greetings, intrepid travelers, and welcome to the beginning of our new path, Pathways. What is this Pathways? I'll tell you. Keep this phrase in mind. The more things change, the more they stay the same. The big fear is change. It's not going to change that much. We'll be okay. I'll be here to help you through it. I'll be here to guide you along the path. I even brought trail mix in case you get hungry along the way. Pathways is really boiled down to the simple fact that right now, when you sign up to be Toastmasters, sign up to be in a Toastmasters club, you get 2 books with 10 speeches in one and a whole lot of stuff in the other one. It's very confusing as to how to use these books, what they're for. Pathways changes that. Pathways begins with a quiz. Oh, I know. I didn't study for mine, but I managed to get through it. When you first go to Pathways, when you first sign up for it, the quiz is simple. It's giving you an idea. It gives you a choice of 3 things at the beginning. Which of these things appeal to you? Let's say Patty wants to be a better salesperson. And let's say Hugh wants to be a masterful, powerful speaker. And let's say that Michael back there is very shy. He wants to work on his speaking in front of people skills. These are some of the choices available to you. And what that does, after finishing the quiz, you now have a very specific path with a goal at the end of it. Not just a bunch of random speeches that you have to decide how you want to do it. which speech you'd like to do today. This is giving you very specific guidance, a path, let's call it. Oh, that's an idea. A path to follow that gives you a final goal. Now, at the end of it, they don't hand you a certificate that says you are now a dynamic salesman. No, but what you get is all of the skills needed for that job, or for that idea, for the reason you came here. Why the heck are you in Toastmasters? Now, when I first joined, it was just because it was a group of people that would listen to my silly stories and jokes, and I had a lot of fun. And I've realized that I prefer public speaking. I think that's a really fun thing to do. I enjoy it. And Hugh, what did you come up with for your path?
Dynamic leadership.
Dynamic leadership. It's the exact same one that I came up with when I took the quiz. And what that tells me is that's really where I need to go. And the speeches involved in that are designed around being a dynamic leader or a dynamic public speaker. Simple as that. What changed in this whole world is simply the way that we get our speeches, the way it's ordered for you. You don't have to wait 2 weeks for books. The minute you sign up, you have your speeches ready. You can read every single one of the projects. You can look through the whole thing. It's there, and it's free. You already own it. You can print it in a PDF format, or if you want to spend some money, they'll send you the bound copies of it to you. But you don't really need those, because in reality, it's all online. And that's what they're pushing for. They're pushing for a more modern version of Toastmasters, a more up-to-date version. Now, do they have a mobile app for this Pathways yet? No. It's coming, though, because they know that will be handy in a meeting. You can finish your speech, you can pop online and go, bing, done. Because that's how you finish it. Who's the Vice President of Education? You are, Maria, right?
Yeah.
I have a gift for you. Her new title will be Vice President of Education / Base Camp Manager. Base Camp is where you begin. Base Camp is the start of this. When you log on to Toastmasters International website, and we'll teach you all how to do that, don't worry. If you've never done it before, we'll show you exactly how to do it and get in there. Base Camp is where all your stuff is, all your information, all of your paths, all of your badges, all of your evaluations. How the heck did they get in there? It's simple. When you finish getting your evaluation, they hand you the sheets, you go home, scan them, poke a button, and now they're sitting right next to your speech. You're done. Your Vice President of Education is basically finished. In the old days, after all 10 speeches, you'd have to remember to log them in the back of the book, have to get them signed off, have to remember the date that you told them. Then your poor VP has to sit there at home on the typewriter going, oh, what is that word? I don't know what that word is. Who writes like this? And what's the date? I can't read the date. And they're trying to come up with an idea, and poke, poke, poke. Hours later, they're finally done. Now, you go home and you poke a button, your speech is finished. Maria, once a week or when she feels like it or right after the meeting, goes home and checks that everyone has poked all their buttons, and she pokes the button beside it saying, yes, they did it, yes, they did it, yes, they did it. It's done. And then when you get 4 speeches done, bam, level 1, done. Isn't that awesome? They've taken this massive thing. 10 speeches is a lot of speeches. It seems like it could be 10 years before I get them done. But 4 speeches, 3 speeches, they do that. I could do that, stand on my head and be done with it. And then, little by little, nibble by nibble, your path gets finished, completed, and then done. And then you've completed a path. When you complete 2 paths and a few other projects, you get to be DTM. And Hugh did the math on it, and it's actually fewer speeches than it is now to be DTM. It's easier, not easier, but it's certainly a little bit less dramatic than it is now. And that's excellent. That's easing the pain and giving little rewards along the way. Because you didn't get anything in Toastmasters until you've done all 10 speeches, which is a monumental task for some people. My mother, for example, took about 8 years to get to that point. And some people do take a very long time, but if you think about it in smaller pieces, how much nicer is that? Maria, I'm going to give you this gift. I'm going to give you this gift. And inside here, and I'll show everyone so they see, is beautiful words, a nifty sheet of paper, this thing called the Navigator. The Navigator is an interesting information pamphlet that tells you all about how to move around the website in Toastmasters Base Camp, and that's for Maria to help everyone along the way, along with me. There's also 3 nifty Pathways pins, huh? You know what those are for? The first 3 people to sign up for Pathways. Maria will know who they are because she'll be able to see the time and date that they signed up. This is not available until next Tuesday. I know, seems like a long time, but it's only next Tuesday. This is also a thing that she'll hand out later, or will, in fact, if you'll open that and start passing those around so everybody gets one, they're a little information packet that will help you. And also, Maria will have this thumb drive, which has some sweet tunes on it and some pictures from my vacation. And no, actually, it has.
I hope not, thank you.
It has the PowerPoint presentation. Please pass that back. It has the PowerPoint presentation. It also has some information, and it has links for her to get online and show her what to do to help us all. Maria, along with your president and secretary, are the only 3 people that are going to have access to your pack, to your base camp, to your section. And they had it simply to keep you going, to check on things, to make sure everybody's doing what they need to do. Questions arise such as, what about the Distinguished Club program? Are we still going to get these cool ribbons for our banner? Yep, that hasn't changed. But the meeting, that's going to be dramatically changed, right? Not even a little bit. It's exactly the same. We'll still have the 3 parts, the prepared speeches, the evaluations, and the table topics. Bink, 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 just like it always is. We still will meet in human form. All people will show up at meetings as usual, with no radical difference. The real difference in Pathways is simply in the way that you receive your speeches. Everybody, even 4-time DTM winner Hugh Wynn, will begin his path exactly the same as Oscar, exactly the same as Tony, with the icebreaker. Every single path begins with an icebreaker and progresses in much the same way for everyone. Except as it gets meatier, as you get more into that path, you'll find that some of your choice speeches are different than perhaps Heather's choice speeches, simply because you've chosen a different path than she has. Or you may have chosen the same path. Now, if you're a member of 2 clubs, you get 2 paths. But that's it. More clubs, more paths can be purchased for an astonishingly huge rate of only $20. When you're ready for your 3rd path or your 2nd path, another $20 and boom, you've got your path ready to go. And it's all there, all of it. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to wait for the books to come in the mail, which could be 3 weeks later. Now, for our new guys who are perhaps signing up tonight, we'll get you some membership forms and get you in. You don't get a choice anymore. You will be going right into Pathways. This is your way. You won't have to learn the old way to unlearn it and begin again. For those of us already in the program and already working our way, getting closer to DTMs or closer to even a CC or closer to ACB, that means Advanced Communicator Bronze or Advanced Communicator Silver, and CC means Competent Communicator. That's the first 10 speeches. If you're close to that, stay with it. You might as well, because you can achieve that and then join a path. Or you can join the path at the same time and do both. It's okay. But I think if you're close to an award, you might as well stay with it. I'm staying with the old program until I have my DTM. This is helping me get my DTM. I'm doing this as my district leadership project. I just found out at work that they want to start a Toastmasters club, and bam, I got that covered. So life is good. I will be a DTM before long.
Oh, you get your AOS and nothing but.
And there is very little difference beyond that. You're going to need to go online more often. Go to the Toastmasters International website more often, which we're hoping will now promote you guys going to our website to sign up for your speeches and sign up for your roles, because I know that gets neglected quite often. It's the one space that really, really helps the rest of the club to know what's going on. By simply going online and saying, I'm doing this speech, and here's my intro. By going to the TI website on a regular basis to check your path and see how things are going and what's your next speech, you'll be able to go online to our regular website, our website, and get signed up for stuff. It's a good thing. It needs to be done that way. It's safer and more fun, and your Toastmaster feels more comfortable coming in knowing the slate's full, everything's ready. If there's some shake-up, it'll be minor. Are you afraid? Who's afraid? Dad's afraid, of course. it's not going to be all that bad because we are here to help you. I will be starting a weekly webinar where you can, I'll be online and you can come online and ask me questions and I can help you through anything that you're stuck on for the next 15 weeks, starting next week, and I'll tell you the dates and I'll email everybody the information on that. And I'll be there at my computer ready for action. If you have questions, I can answer them. If you have concerns, if you're not sure what you're doing, I'll help you through it. Because I've been studying this for a bit, and Hugh will be there probably if he wants to, and he is the expert on knowing stuff. That's proper good English right there. At this point, I'd like to bring Hugh up, and we will begin our question and answer period. And you can ask us anything, like, how did I get so darn good looking? Well, you know, genetics partly, I've been working out. Actually, Hugh, come on up. There's Hugh again. All right, welcome. Question, Maria.
Yes.
Distinguished Club Program.
Yes.
We know it's different on pathways and before you used to have 2 CCs, 2 more
Yeah.
CCs, 1 AC, 1 more AC,
Right.
1 CL, or 1 leadership, another leadership. I know goals 7, 8, 9, and 10 has not changed because that's your membership, that's your
Right.
officers trained, and that's your dues on time and club officers list. Now, if you have a club that's doing both pathways and the old one,
What's going to happen?
how do you
How do you
split?
do that?
Right.
What will happen is, for the education portion of the Distinguished Club program,
Uh-huh.
there will be 12 choices, of which you only need 6. In other words, there'll be 6
phew.
already, and there'll be 6 new ones. So if somebody is rocking the pathways, and that's all that anyone's doing, it's fine, because it will still count. You
Okay.
see? So during the transition, now come 2020, the old program's out, it's all just
Right.
pathways, it drops back down to 6.
Okay, I was just wondering,
Nice and
how
easy.
do you?
They thought of it already.
Someone gets a CC, or 2 members get a CC, that's 1 goal. 4 members get a level 1, that's another goal, so those 2
Done.
goals right there.
The online, when you become Pathways guys, or Pathwaysers, what do we call them? Pathways, when you join Pathways, there is a giant question or Q&A, or they call it Q&A, but it's really like a FAQ. And I was going to print it when I first saw it. I said, oh, I should just print that, then I'll have it with me at these meetings in case someone has a question. Yeah. When I looked at it, it was 247 pages. Now it's well over 300. It is a massive, massive document, and it has answered everything because we're the last ones on the planet to get Pathways. They've already been through all the bugs, and the weird stuff, and the questions, and the what do we do now, and how did we do that, and it's coming to us clean, fresh, and toasty, and ready for action, with no fear. More questions? Come on, somebody.
All right.
Well, okay, so I get the online.
Yes.
I mean, what if you don't have a scanner to scan your values?
You can just save them, or you could take a picture of it and
Oh.
email it to the program, and then upload it into that.
So
There's-
does the evaluation have to go with it?
Doesn't have to.
No.
Okay, but they will keep track of your speeches.
Your speeches are listed with a, I finished this project
Yes.
button to
And they'll
push.
trust that you did it without if you don't upload the evaluation.
That's what your vice president of education is for, to,
We mark it as yes, you did.
you say, I
It's
did
just like in
it,
your
she
book.
says, yes, she did it, and boop, it's done.
Okay, so then so the scanner is not an issue?
It's not vital,
It's not
but
vital.
it's, right now when you have your book, at the end of your speech, there's your
Yeah,
evaluation, right?
Mhm.
They want you to keep that information available. You can now scan it and then shred the document and be done with it. You don't have to hold on to paper. It goes digital.
So when you go to give the speech, do you have to download the evaluation
Ah,
form?
good question, yes. It's a good idea to get in touch with your evaluator, and either they download it or you download it. But if you're smart, you should download it, print it, and bring it with you so that you have something to give your evaluator.
Right.
Just like bringing your books to the meeting to give your evaluator, just print it. It's 3 pages. The nice thing about it, though, is the fact that right here in the middle is this 1 to 5 thing. That's on every one of them. That's standard. This is different. There'll be questions that are different. And the back part of it has this information section for your evaluator to read through. So get to the meeting early, give it to your evaluator early, and give them a chance to glance through what they're looking for in your speech. Your objectives are there and your purpose is there. And then there's notes for the evaluator to check out. But this 1 to 5 section, if you were to put that in online with your speech, you can check it the next time because there are questions like, spoken language is clear and easily understood. Let's say you only got a 2 on that one. Maybe next time you'll get a 3. Maybe next time you get a 4, or you might get a 1. Let's think about speaking more clearly and check your graph. How am I doing? Am I getting better at speaking or am I getting worse? Is my eye contact, do I use eye contact and engage the audience? 1 to 5, you can check that. That's a beautiful thing. Yes?
So as far as you say Toastmasters has 320,000 members worldwide?
Yes.
So is this essentially going to create a centralized master database for all Toastmaster information?
It is already there like that. In other words,
So archiving everyone's speeches and
right,
archiving everything?
right. We have that, but you only jump into it after 10 speeches. That's the first time you're showing up on their radar screens with any information of what you've been up to lately. Or when you put in for a leadership award, that's the only time you jump in. Now, along the way, Toastmasters International will probably have some way to look at everybody and just see.
And really only the base camp managers will see the
Yeah.
path you're doing, and no one else will really care.
No.
No.
So I joined in the first meeting in April, and I was online looking at some of the online documents like the icebreaker and things like that because I didn't have anything paper-wise. So is it better for me then to just wait till next week and then work with all just the Pathways program and ditch the other stuff?
I would think so, because you only have about a year and a half to finish anything, which you could. 2 years, well, 2020, June of 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 years.
It's your option. You could do it if you want to. I would recommend just do Pathways. Just get into that and have that your way, because that's how it's going to be, so you might as well just learn the new stuff and just do it. It's easier.
I'm assuming we cannot log into this now. If we wanted to
can't.
log into it tonight, so you could
It
have
tells you-
a nice presentation to show us what we were going to get, you can't do it.
Right. It tells you that you need to be a member of Toastmasters in order to log in, and all that's telling
The
them
only-
is not ready yet, not ready yet. I can go
Only
in.
module you can see is the icebreaker, and that's how I was able to print
Right.
everything out. I actually went through the icebreaker module. I watched the 5-minute video on how to not be nervous to give an icebreaker. Everyone's been there before, so I watched that video, and I went through it. It was a good video. It was well put together.
Well, Toastmasters has a whole library of videos right now, correct?
Hmm?
Yes,
And these are just organized in, same videos organized differently or brand new?
brand new videos for Pathways.
Because the speeches are slightly different along the way. They've taken big things and made them smaller into easier to chew and swallow bites. Like the skill sets we learn right now, there's like 68 of them, like eye contact and voice modulation. There are now 300 in Pathways. In other words, they've taken things and broken them into smaller pieces of it so that you can eat it in little bites and not feel full and bloated afterwards. Awkward.
It's up to you too. If you don't want to watch the videos, you don't have
Yeah.
to. No one's going to make you forced to watch a video. So.
Just like we used to have the CCs and people always did the communication track and then forgot about the leadership track.
Right.
The thing with the levels now is you get a level of accomplishment, but it's not just for communication. You also have to do some leadership.
It's more integrated.
So it's not just projects completed, it's a level of completion. So let's say you have 3 speeches that you have to give to get to part of that level completed. There's also certain leadership things you have to do, like maybe evaluations, odd counter, timer, whatever it is.
Toastmaster, general evaluator.
One of the, right, any one of those, once you've done certain amount of that, plus the amount of speeches, then you have accomplished level 1. So you can't just do just speeches and speeches and speeches, because if you do, you'll get them done, that's great, but you won't get a level completed. So it's not like, a CC doing 10 and getting one little badge saying, yeah, I got my CC. You have to do both leadership and communication together.
So they basically integrated everything to force you to not be the timer every single meeting, Oscar. I didn't mean to say Oscar out loud.
So yes, Oscar, you have to be evaluated. Yeah.
You'll be Toastmaster and you'll be.
Yeah, Rich.
We now have competent communicator, competent leader, advanced leader,
Right.
all these different, are there designations other than the levels on the path that you get? You get a badge that says, I'm at level 16?
Yep.
Just 5 levels.
Just 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I think they are going towards that you get the designation of the path and the level number. They might still work on that.
So you're on dynamic leadership level 1.
Right.
Sort of.
Once you finish level 1, say DL1 or something.
So no one will be considered competent anymore.
You'll be dynamic now. If you choose the
Dynamic is much better than government.
yeah. Or if you choose visionary communication, you can be visionary.
It's just going to be relabeled.
It's
It's
more or
than-
less
yeah, it's
a
more-
relabeling and reorganizing of the way that you get your speeches and what you should do at a meeting. Versus the meeting is normal, but right now you could be this, you could do evaluator, you might not for 2 years. But this is making you do it, which is good because sometimes people need a little, go do it, you can do it.
It's a completely different system, so it's not really relabeling. For example, the CC manual has 10 speeches. See, the vocal variety is one of the 10 speeches. I think it's only one of the electives for one of the later levels. If you want to use vocal variety, and that's a project you want to concentrate on, it will be an elective. It's not required for everyone to use vocal variety, to specifically concentrate on vocal variety. It's one of the items on all the evaluations, vocal variety. So all the items you're looking for in a speech are being evaluated in all the speeches.
It will also make your evaluations a little more standardized because right now there's occasionally the evaluation where it's, oh, you were such a wonderful speaker and I also did that one time and there I was walking along doing it and somebody gives the same speech in their own words and then sits down and that's not really an evaluation. You're looking for, did I move around the room? Could you hear me in the back? Am I a good speaker? Am I loud enough? Am I strong enough?
Yeah, the second question says, you may want to work on, and right now it's blank. So I want you to write down something. Okay. Oh, no. Oh, maybe I should have said that. Oh, man.
All right, more questions. Dad.
If you were still on the old track and you gave a pathway speech and it got marked off, can you count it towards something in one of the advanced manuals?
No.
Oh.
Either you're doing it for pathways or you're doing it for... Because if you're getting credit for pathways, why should you be able to get credit again? It's like doing 2 speeches, doing a speech and getting counted in 2 manuals, right? You don't do that now, right?
No.
Just so you know, this is the 8th time you and I have done this in the past few weeks.
And this is as good as it gets.
That's pretty much it.
I don't know, I'm using feedback from Rich. Remember what you said in your last evaluation? I just stood up here, I didn't move at all. So I moved all the way to the end, just for you, Rich. I moved all the way to the end.
Can I explain this? Oh, gosh.
So I was going to offer a suggestion for those who are very close to achieving your distinguished Toastmaster credentials, like you're missing becoming a district leader or sponsoring, mentoring, or coaching a club, or providing one of the leadership or communication success leadership areas. Those will probably take you another year. District leadership, for the exception of Pathways Guide, normally takes 1 year. That will be your area director, your division director, any district officer. Pathways Guide, I think, is 7 months long.
6 months.
Oh, 6 months. And they did that for a reason, to help those who are very close to achieving their distinguished Toastmaster credentials to getting it done, like Jeff, Patty, Tony, Michael. You guys are all very, very close to completing yours. Diane Bernstein, when she does come back from Mexico, she won't be back for a while, but what I'm saying is, she's gonna finish hers in Mexico. And, but those are the ones that I'm trying to make sure you guys really, really understand on your choices. So you have 2 years, June of 2020, to get it done. If you do not think you're going to be able to do the leadership portion, we're going to have to, well, someone's going to have to try to encourage you forcibly to do one of those leadership positions, because we would like you to finish it on the old track, because you've worked so hard on the old track, and instead of having to start all over again.
But it's not vital, because you can do what you want. It's free.
Correct, but, you know, you
If
work
it's a
really
point-
hard.
Yeah,
You will find a way
Get
if
over
it's a
it,
point.
you know.
right.
Yeah.
No one will force you to do
Yeah.
anything in Toastmasters.
Oh, yes, I will. Oh, wait a minute, I'm only the VPE until June 30th.
That's right.
It's up to
Yeah.
the next VPE.
So someone else will be base camp
Yeah.
manager next year.
Can I just
I'll
say
give her my crutch.
one other thing? This evaluation form is quite different. Now, Hugh gave a speech at Hope Sound Toasters, and I evaluated him. And it's this stupid 1 to 5. It's like, how's your pain level today? Is it a 3 or a 7 or a 5? I always have a hard time doing that. However, they have come up with a very unique way of identifying whether it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 by these little explanations on the second page, because they worded out specifically pertaining to the question that they're asking you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For instance, in vocal variety, a 1 would be ineffective use of tone, speed, and volume. If you got a 2, he used the tone, speed, and volume, but it requires further practice. If you got a 3, he used them as tools. 4, he excelled at using the tone, speed, and volume as tools. 5 would be uses the tools of tone, speed, and volume to perfection. So each evaluation, if it's evaluated carefully, will point out how you can improve. And I looked at some of the other ones that Hugh had. The questions change. They get more in-depth at analyzing exactly what you're doing. So rather than just me picking a pain level of 2 or 3, I would know exactly how to describe that. So it's actually a much better tool than we had before.
You put a lot of thought into this.
I didn't.
No,
But
they
I
did, yeah.
They did.
Yeah, they did.
After I gave you your evaluation, I looked at the second page and, geez.
Now I know.
You're right.
Yeah.
Well, I might have given them a different.
I wish I
You
could-
want to
Oh, man. Yeah.
So that part's good.
Dan,
Has Toastmasters evaluated the Pathways program that's been in existence?
Oh, it's being evaluated.
endless.
Has the retention gone up, or have they seen how effective it is?
That's a good question.
It's still very early right now to say make any conclusions about it.
It's been alive for a year. We're the last ones, as of next week, the whole world is using it.
And they know that not everyone is going to sign up right away.
Do you mean in different parts of America it's already been in use?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah.
we just happen to be this district, this
This
area.
is Region 8 and 9,
This is the
which is,
last region.
which
It's
is
the
a
last
big
of the
chunk
world.
of the eastern seaboard, basically, are the ones that are the last ones to get it.
So you're saying if who's moving to Mexico?
Diane.
So they've already got pathways in Mexico?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But it's still optional. It's everyone in the world
Well, because you
is
have a 2-year
forced on
window.
2020. The year 2020, we stopped doing anything to do with the old one. In fact, all of the members that join after Tuesday, next week, will be on Pathways. They won't get the option to do the old way. So if you've signed up or you're about to sign up, you're going to just be in Pathways. Those of you who are fresh, you still have the option. You can go one way or the other or both. It doesn't matter. But right now, When you sign up next week, that's it. You're on Pathways forever.
I think they released some of the statistics from one of the first districts. I think they say that about half the members are on Pathways and half the current education system. And that seems about right. That half will be jumping into, or the other will still be working on what you're working on now.
You've been around for a while. What do you see
Oh.
the challenges for the clubs?
For the clubs, I think it has nothing to do with Pathways. Just your challenges with membership, make sure that you have quality meetings.
Signing up for
Yeah.
goals. The Pathways will not challenge the club in any way because the way they've designed it online is so simple to operate. It's simple questions, a list of things, buttons to poke. It's really, really broken down into very, very simple ways of understanding. They're not trying to make it confusing and hard. They've actually made it much more simple. In fact, the old way is much more confusing because there's no guidance in it. The new way is way less confusing because you know what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to start with this speech. You're supposed to do this one next. And the minute that you say, I'm signed up, you have all of the information that you need right then, that moment there. Done. If you wanted to print it out for yourself to read at your leisure, if you want to just read it online, eventually we'll have a mobile app for it, but not yet. It's coming. They're working on it.
Yes.
If I want to be a better belly dancer,
Yes!
is that a path that I can choose?
Soon it will be. They're adding new paths all the time. Right now there are 10 paths. But they are adding new ones, they're creating new ones.
Yeah, Jeff, you know that they are working on a humor path?
Humor path.
So maybe you can use your belly dancing in the humor path.
Yes, there's one already.
There's certain
Not
things
yet.
you cannot see though.
Can you tell us what the paths are? Or is that secret?
That is top secret information. No, Hugh actually knows several of them. I don't know them all, but it might be in the
innovative
Navigator.
planning, visionary
It's in the Navigator
communication.
book.
I didn't memorize them all because there was only about 4,000 other things I had to memorize.
There are 10 paths:
10 paths, yeah.
10 paths.
dynamic leadership,
Yes.
effective coaching,
Oh.
innovative planning,
Hmm.
leadership development, motivational strategies, persuasive influence, presentation mastery or presentation mastery, strategic relationships, team collaboration, visionary communication. Those are the 10 paths. And there are 5 levels for each path. There are 5 levels. Master the fundamentals is level 1. Level 2 is learning your style. Level 3 is increasing knowledge. Level 4 is building skills. And level 5 is, you can't touch this, no, I'm kidding, it's demonstrating expertise.
And you don't have to know or memorize or even
So this
try and
comes-
remember any of that.
This comes from the Navigator magazine that she has.
Yeah,
so-
it's online.
And it's
So
all
As soon
online.
as soon as Tuesday pops up,
Once Tuesday.
you will have the access to the entire Navigator, which gives you all of the outside information, bringing it in for you.
I've been waiting.
And your path, and you take the quiz. Now the quiz is laid out very simply. You start with the first 3 things. Which of these 3 things appeal to you? And they'll say all of those things. Why are you in Toastmasters? Then the next questions are, when you're speaking in front of a group, do you know what to do with your hands? Strongly agree to strongly disagree and all the points in between. And that's how the questions are laid out throughout. It'll take you like 10 minutes to fill out, and then they'll give you a choice of 3 paths. Now, do you have to take the quiz, Hugh?
I didn't.
He didn't.
No.
He
I
said,
wanted to
"I
do
wanna do
dynamic
that."
leadership.
Right.
So that's the one I'm going to do.
So you can take the quiz, which I recommend simply because it helps you decide. That otherwise, it's a lot of speeches, a lot of ideas, but they do give you like a paragraph to say what the path is about. But let's say you sign up for a path, and then you go, I don't like this path. I want something else. You have 30 days to swap it out. But you only get to do that like once a year. So be sure, read about it. Read all the speeches that are involved. Read about the projects involved. Take your time. Relax. It's okay. There's no rush.
For free, otherwise it costs you $20, you said.
No. Well, you could buy another path, I suppose. You could buy,
all of
10
them, yeah.
if you wanted to, and have them all available to you. But you've got to finish a path I mean, you've got to work on one path at a time, really, to achieve the goals in the way they've designed it. You can jump around if you wanted to, but it's not really, they're building a progression of speeches for you to work on.
What do they project the time to be for finishing a path? Chronologically or?
Currently, there's
it
fewer
depends.
speeches in the new way than there is in the old way.
So,
Well,
So
let's
it's however
break down
long
the
you
path.
decide to
What's
take.
that?
There are 5 levels. There are about 15 speeches in a path. So how long does it take someone to do 15 speeches?
Plus all the
If you're
leadership stuff
Michael,
has to go
it
with
could
that.
be like 3 weeks.
I mean, that's plus leadership things.
Yeah.
Joins
Plus-
5 clubs.
So it's more than just 15 speeches, it's doing other things in the club too.
Yes, but it's not like the leadership manual right now. It's not a checklist of things to do. There's leadership involved.
It's more integrated than it used
Okay,
to be.
so say it's 6 months, is that fair?
We can do it in 6 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pathways started last year in California, and like I said, moved all over the world. There have been people who already did 2 paths and got a Pathways DTM already in a
A
year.
third pathway, you're saying?
Yeah, they've already completed a Pathways DTM. They already completed 2 paths in
In
1
a
year.
Oh, and so that's what it takes to get to a DTM is
2
two
paths.
paths?
And there's one
leadership.
guy who has completed 6 paths already in 1 year. So it's possible.
You still have to be a club officer, you still have to do district leadership, right?
You
And
still
he
have to
wasn't the
do
guy that
events
did the
training
ad for
and
FedEx and spoke real
coaching up
fast.
No.
Most of it hasn't really changed. The more things change, the more they stay the same. Most of it hasn't
It
changed.
really, to answer the question of how long will it take someone, it depends on
It's up
you.
to you, yeah.
How
How
long do
long
you
you
want to
want.
go through your speeches? How long? It could take you a year, take you 5 years, 10 years, doesn't matter. It's up to you.
Michael,
I would just like to congratulate both of you. You laid it out very simply, and you didn't scare the hell out of me. But I know somebody else did, and did a great job of going through all the details, and I was petrified.
yeah.
And you guys did a great job. I just want to thank you on behalf of myself and the whole club.
Well, our goal tonight wasn't to frighten you or to overwhelm you with all of the information available. It's simply to allay your fears of this new way is going to be so confusing and hard, and it's really not. It's really user-friendly. It's really, I can figure it out. My dad could figure it out.
Really?
Well, maybe.
Oh,
I'll have Mom help you with it.
yes.
Do you sign up the same with the same login and everything that you currently have?
You're going to Toastmasters International, yep. And then there's a thing that says Pathways, and then you drop that down, and it says Go to Base Camp. Go there. And it starts telling you things and asking you questions, and you begin your way through it. It's very simply laid out for you to get through.
Yes, you do have to go online.
Yeah, you
So
do
if
have
you
to go
don't
online.
have a computer or the internet for some reason, just ask someone in the club to help you.
Right.
I guess